I've been in college for about 2 years now, and I'm just about to start my junior year in a few months, and since I'm from out of state, I don't really get the luxury of living at home. I get the luxury of living in housing that my school provides, aka the dorms! And let me just tell you, no matter how well your school sells the dorms to you and how good they look on a school's website, it's a lie. Well, at least in my case. Also, my dorm building is like 50 to 60 years old, and I can't really say any major renovations have been made since then, so that definitely contributes to my experience. Anyways, when I moved into the dorms my freshman year, there were about 40 other people who lived on my floor, and we all had the same class together. This was intentional so that it would help incoming students make friends because we were all just a bunch of college newbies that didn't know what the hell was going on. I will say that if I lived on a floor with a bunch of people I was never forced to interact with, I probably wouldn't have met a lot of the people I'm friends with now. Now, I lived on one of the lower floors, which meant that my room didn't get a kitchen because those were reserved for pretty much everyone that wasn't a Frenchman. A Frenchman? No, oui, oui. A freshman, which is fair, but it's not like once you move up from being a freshman, you automatically gain the power of cooking. Like, we're all college students, none of us know how to cook. So there was this period of time where just about every week someone would set off the fire alarm in my building because some idiot thought it was a good idea to entrust college students to have ovens and stoves. It got so annoying to have to evacuate the building so often, I just stopped evacuating. Like, it got to the point where if the fire alarm went off, I would just close my door, lock it, and stay in my room. Y'all are actually evacuating? Wow. What losers. I can't believe you think there's actually a fire. Like, it's totally fine. I can't believe... Yeah, probably not the smartest idea, but when I thought about having to stop whatever I was doing, go downstairs, wait for the firefighters to check it out while standing in a crowd of people that were all equally annoyed as me, I thought, risking my life's an equal trade-off. Also, when it was considered safe to go back into the dorms, the elevators were just too crowded to even consider using, so the stairs were kind of the only option. And it's not like I'd even want to use the elevators even if they weren't crowded. I swear, my dorm building elevators are the sketchiest and nastiest things you will ever step into. They stink, people leave garbage in them all the time, and all the walls have like etch markings on the side. Here's a video of my elevator to show you what I'm talking about. Bitch, what? And it's not just that the elevators are also dirty. They're also old and always malfunction. One time my friend and I were going up in the elevator and I will admit we were jumping in them even though there's like no jumping signs everywhere. But regardless, it just comes to a complete halt. Like we're pressing the buttons, nothing. It gets to the point where we pry the door open just enough to see the other floor so we can call for help. And you know the response we got from other students? They freaking laughed at us and then proceeded to throw a condom into the elevator. If that doesn't sum up freshman behavior, I don't know what does. Eventually, the RA showed up, which is like the person in charge of the floor to actually help us, and she was like, so what you're gonna do is press the help button in the elevator and it'll notify the fire department and they'll come and help you out. Oh, I would. Except the freaking button is smashed in and it doesn't work, so... Eventually, the fire department came and maintenance got us out, and the whole ordeal lasted about an hour. Now, you're probably thinking what I'm thinking, which is, oh, just don't jump in the elevators. Well, nope, you're wrong, because that happened multiple times while my feet were firmly planted on the ground, thank you very much. Okay, enough about the building, let's talk about the rooms. So something that most people in my dorms have complained about is the plumbing. It just sucks. There have been numerous times where pipes have burst or started leaking, which resulted in people's rooms flooding. This actually happened to one of my friends who was in a room a few floors below mine. Another time, murky water started leaking out of my friend's vent, which is right above their sink, and when they called maintenance to come check it out, they told them that the toilet in the floor above them was leaking. They had doo-doo water leaking like a few inches away from their toothbrushes. But wait, the stories don't stop there. Just last year, water from my bathroom started seeping under the wall, and the amount of water on the carpet had extended a few feet into my room, and the carpet was making wet squishing noises. So, I called maintenance, and they came and looked at it, and the dude had the audacity to tell me, yeah, it's probably just water coming in from under the door when you get out of the shower. You know those situations where someone is just so incredibly wrong, you don't really know how to explain it to them that they're wrong, so you kind of just stare at them? Well, yeah, that's the exact situation I found myself in. The water was coming up like a foot away from the door. The carpet right under the door was dry, so just by glancing at the situation, it was enough to know he was wrong. Eventually, he had a closer look and told me that it must have been coming from my shower leaking, and he had to regrout my shower. But I had to argue with him for like a few minutes before he reassessed the situation. All right, so just as a visual, this is where the water was leaking from. And all this discoloration, like around here, is where the water extended to, and it was basically just a lake. And all this area was completely dry. But just an update, they did regrout the shower, so I gotta give it to maintenance for that. It looks way better. They're maintaining. If I gotta rate it, it's gonna have to be a 10 out of 10 on that. I will say that even though the dorms are kind of run down, I don't think I could see myself living anywhere else, considering all the apartments around my dorm are like double in price and utilities aren't really included. But what makes dorms fun is that everyone living in them bonds over complaining about them. Everyone has stories to tell, and I would definitely recommend staying in them during your freshman year. It's an experience you do not want to miss out